Pit Fighter is one of those games that falls into the so bad that it's good category. In fact, this practically reinvents the category. This is so awful that it's amazing. Pit Fighter was originally an arcade game from Atari, released in 1990. And I remember that the arcade I used to play at had a Pit Fighter machine, which would sit in the corner alone while there were lines forming around the Street Fighter II and Mortal Kombat arcade machines. I always thought Pit Fighter was kind of cool. I mean, it's the cheesiest game, and it's aged so poorly that it's a must-play today. This is the Sega Genesis version, and this is also on Super Nintendo. It can be easily found for a very reasonable price. Released in 1991 here for the Genesis. The gameplay in Pit Fighter is straight up button mashing. You can punch, you can kick, you can grab your opponents, lift them up over your head and throw them. Each of the characters has a special move. You hold down all 3 Sega Genesis buttons to pull that off. So this is a nice one to play with the arcade stick. The gameplay itself, if you look closely, is actually very similar to the Streets of Rage style fighting. You can approach people from an angle, try to grab them, throw them, beat them with a pipe. If you're good at Streets of Rage, you'll probably be good at Pit Fighter. While this game has always been billed as a fighting game, and even in the arcades it looked like a fighting game, it has more in common with a side-scrolling beat-em-up. There's another cheesy one I remember from back in the day, Guardians of the Hood. Yeah, I gotta find that one. I think this screen says it all. Like, this just defines Pit Fighter. Sweaty guys with their shirts off, cheering in the background as the hero is being lifted on a forklift. And not just on a forklift, standing on a wooden pallet being lifted on a forklift. Grudge match, he's fighting his twin. Double impact, anyone? Van Damme's finest moment. You know, this whole game just reminds me of Lionheart. Yeah, I'd have to say it's more the style that's memorable and cool about Pit Fighter, not so much the fighting. And although you can adjust the difficulty level, playing against the computer, playing against the Sega Genesis is not terribly exciting, but this is an awesome game to break out when you have friends over. It's the ultimate crowd pleaser. Like, you could have copies of Street Fighter 4 and Tekken 6 laying around. All you have to do is shout, "I've got Pit Fighter," and the party gets started. I'm playing as Ty, the kickboxer. He's the best character in the game by far, and do you know why? Because he's totally studly. That's why. Which won't help him here against heavy metal. They definitely need to remake this game, and not like remake it better. No, that's the wrong direction. If anything, what they need to do is have, in the line of the whole Marvel versus Capcom versus SNK, they should have Pit Fighter versus Kasumi Ninja. What? You've never heard of Kasumi Ninja? It's the game that made the Kessel Run in No, it's honestly one of the most horrendous / awesome video games ever made. Just search for Classic Game Room reviews Kasumi Ninja on Atari Jaguar, and you'll see why. That's one of the old reviews, man. We had fun with that one. The one thing Pit Fighter is definitely missing is a guy with a kilt, and a young lady who's a DA by day, and something else by night.